The generous monk. In a small, peaceful village nestled between green hills and a tranquil river, there lived a humble monk named Jivan. His monastery was modest, built of stone and wood, and it stood on the edge of the village, surrounded by orchards and fields. Jivan had taken a vow of poverty, living with only what he needed to survive: simple robes, a small bowl for collecting alms, and a small room with just a mat for sleeping. Yet, despite his simple life, there was a radiance about him, a quiet contentment that seemed to touch everyone he met. Every day, Jivan would walk into the village to collect alms. He would hold his bowl with both hands, offering a warm smile and kind words to all who crossed his path. The villagers loved him, not for the wisdom he shared or the prayers he offered, but for the way he made each person feel valued and seen. It was said that whenever Jivan visited, even the poorest villager felt rich, for he radiated gratitude and joy in all that he did. One crisp autumn morning, as Jivan made his way into the village, he noticed a young woman standing by the roadside, her head bowed low. She looked troubled, her face pale with worry. Jivan approached her quietly and placed a gentle hand on her shoulder. "Greetings, sister," he said softly. "What weighs on your heart?" The woman looked up, surprised by the monk's presence. Her eyes were filled with tears. "Oh, monk," she said, her voice trembling. "I have nothing left to give. My family has been struggling for months, and I do not know how we will survive the winter. I cannot offer anything to you, as I have nothing but hunger and worry." Jivan smiled gently, his eyes filled with compassion. "Sister, you have more to give than you realize. Gratitude is a powerful gift, and it is one that never runs out. Allow me to share a small blessing with you, and perhaps you will see that there is always something to be thankful for." With that, Jivan reached into his bowl and pulled out a small handful of rice. He placed it in the woman's hands, the grains glistening like tiny treasures in the morning sunlight. "This rice," he said, "may seem small, but it is enough for today. It is a reminder that, even in times of hardship, there is always something to be grateful for, whether it is a simple meal, a kind word, or the beauty of the world around us." The woman looked down at the rice in her hands, and then up at Jivan. She felt a sense of warmth spreading through her heart. "But monk," she said, "I have so little. How can I share anything when I am barely able to feed my family?" Jivan nodded, understanding her concern. "Sister, it is not about the size of what we give, but the intention behind it. The greatest gifts come not from abundance, but from a heart full of gratitude and love. Even the smallest blessing, shared with an open heart, has the power to bring light to the darkest of times." Touched by his words, the woman smiled faintly and nodded. She thanked him, feeling a sense of peace she hadn't known in months. As she turned to walk back to her small home, she felt lighter, knowing that even in her struggle, she had something to give, and that giving, no matter how small, could bring her closer to peace. In the weeks that followed, Jivan continued to share his blessings with the villagers. He gave away the rice he collected each day, offering it not only to those in need but to anyone who needed a reminder of the abundance of life. He gave small gifts of kindness, a smile here, a prayer there, always with a heart full of gratitude. He did not believe in keeping anything for himself, for he knew that the true wealth of life was not measured by what one possessed, but by what one was able to share. One day, as winter set in and the snow began to fall softly over the village, a traveler arrived, weary and hungry. His clothes were torn, and his face was lined with exhaustion. He had been on the road for many days, and the cold had drained his strength. He stumbled into the village, hoping to find shelter for the night. The villagers, remembering the monk's teachings, did not hesitate. They opened their doors, offering him food, a warm fire, and a place to rest. But when the traveler arrived at the monastery, he was greeted by Jivan, who welcomed him with the same warmth and kindness. "Welcome, traveler," Jivan said, offering him a seat by the fire. "Come, share with me what little I have. There is always room for one more at my table." The traveler sat down, his eyes filled with gratitude. As they ate together, the traveler marveled at the simplicity of the meal, a small bowl of rice, a few vegetables, but it was enough. More than enough. And it was in the quiet of that moment that he understood the lesson Jivan had been teaching all along. "This meal," the traveler said, his voice full of wonder, "is more than food. It is a gift of kindness, of love. I have traveled far and met many people, but I have never felt such peace as I do now." Jivan smiled. It is not the food itself, but the heart behind it. A small offering, shared with love and gratitude, is far richer than a grand feast given without intention. In giving, we receive far more than we could ever possess. The traveler, humbled by Jivan's words, stayed for several days, resting and recovering from his journey. He soon realized that the monk's generosity was not only in the food he shared, but in the way he made every moment feel like a blessing. It was in his quiet presence, his thankfulness for every breath, and his ability to find joy in the smallest things. When the traveler left, he took with him a heart full of gratitude, vowing to carry Jivan's teachings wherever he went. The monk's example had shown him that even in the midst of hardship, there was always something to be thankful for, and that sharing, no matter how small, was the key to a fulfilled life. And so, the legend of the generous monk spread far and wide, not because of his great wealth or powerful teachings, but because of the way he lived his life, one of gratitude, kindness, and selfless sharing. For Jivan had learned that the true riches of life lay not in what one could gather, but in what one could give with an open heart. And through his example, he inspired countless others to live with the same abundance of spirit. Thanks for watching. If you found this video insightful, don't forget to give it a like, share it with others who might benefit, and subscribe to the channel for more valuable content like this. Hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. See you in the next video.